How was your dinner?
It was good. We got in and out, so I'm revived for a week.
So I'm just gonna like ask you questions. I wrote some questions down. You went to Supercross at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Have you ever been to Supercross before?
I have. I went when I was younger a couple times, but I haven't been in like 8 years, I want to say. And I always went to the one at Angel Stadium. So this was definitely new. And also, I don't know a lot of the drivers, so it's kind of different, but it was really cool.
What were your expectations going in?
I had a different expectation of what it was going to be like because I didn't really know what a Triple Crown race was. And so it was a bit different than what I was used to.
Were you like
Then
going in like this should be fun or like I don't know, like
I was, well, also our seats were at like the top of the stadium. So I was like wondering if that was going to be good or bad because you can see the whole thing, but like,
you're not
I
close.
don't know. Yeah.
Oh
Ooh,
wait.
did I cut out?
No, I think I did.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hilarious.
I really hope that doesn't happen again.
But I have another insight.
Go ahead.
So I obviously going into this, like I haven't been in a while, so I didn't think I would understand like the rules or like what was exactly happening, but it was honestly really easy to like catch on. I went with my friend Peyton and she goes to Supercross like every single year. And so she knows the drivers, the riders, like she knew everything. So any question I had like was answered right away.
Answered one of my questions. I was like, I wonder from an outsider's perspective, like when you go, are you like if it's your first time, are you able to understand what's going on?
Took me a bit to like know the difference between like 250 and 450. Like I didn't really understand that. I was like, all
Totally.
right. And it was like really entertaining too, because like I found my favorites in each group. And like when I was able to follow them, then I understood what was going on. If
Totally.
you're just looking at everyone, like not knowing what to look at, then you're kind of lost.
On the like seat thing,
Mhm.
the seats that are up top are the more expensive ones. Oddly
Oh,
enough,
really?
yes. Race in Anaheim.
Mhm.
We waited to the last minute to get tickets, and the cheapest seats were in the Diamond Club.
What?
They were $100 each, and it's cool because it rained and we had a place to go when it
Yeah.
started to rain. But I quickly realized it was like, oh, this is so cool because the fireworks and the this and that
Hmm.
was right there. But I was like, I can't see the whole track. I literally can't
Yeah.
see the area that I was in, and it was kind of
Hmm.
annoying. And so then we went
Yeah.
inside and we're watching it on the TV, and it's like, then we could have just been at home.
But
Yeah,
yeah, it was really nice to be up there. Like you could see absolutely everything happening.
yeah, that's so cool. Okay, what was your favorite part, or what did you like the most?
Okay, one thing I thought was fun was like their intros that they had.
Yes.
And my favorite part was seeing the difference between all of them because like you have the bigger drivers, like for example, Hayden Deegan, his was so long and like it was a whole production, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Some it was just like they announced their name, they drove out, they did a little trick. So it
Yeah.
was like interesting to see because do you know like do they like do their own intros, like do they do that, or because it was different for every single person.
Yes. So it's kind of like the more, I guess, the more money you make, the higher
Yeah.
quality it probably can be.
Hmm.
Obviously, they have more money to throw around and have higher
Yeah.
production value, but that's usually my favorite part too. I knew you would.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. It
like,
was.
oh, this is who they are.
And also, like, I mean, me being a big Formula One fan, like, I always love the start of a race, and that was so much fun. And, like, also, it's just, but also, I got kind of nervous because, like, they're so close and, like, they do not have a lot, like, protecting them from bumping into each
Right?
other. And so many people just fall, and I felt so bad. But that was also really fun. I didn't understand. I was like, how do they know when to go? Because, like, the lady walks off the track, but, like, where's the go thing? I was so lost
Well,
with
yeah, and
that, but
like
it was
the
fun.
gate will drop and then they go. Would you ever want to attend another race in the future?
100%. Like it was so great. And it was also fun because obviously AT&T Stadium's like a new place. I've seen it Angel Stadium
Oh, I didn't
before.
know it was new.
Um oh no,
Oh,
like
you
just
just
a
mean
new
like
place for me.
new
Yeah. New
location.
environment, new environment. One thing that they were talking about
Hold on.
that interested me. Oh,
My stupid.
one thing they were talking about was like the Dallas dirt, and they were talking about it a lot. And they were saying because there was one corner where it's like you could see in the race, like the more they would go on it, like the lower it went, the slower they had to go. And they kept talking about, yeah, they kept talking about how it just like in Dallas was different. And I thought that was so interesting.
Mhm.
I like it makes sense, but I don't know like why it makes sense. Like I get that like it's different everywhere. That's like I mean same thing with like baseball and stuff, like sports where you go like the environment and like the climate like it's gonna affect it. The one corner it's like you like everyone had to go slow on it or like go around. And
Yeah,
that was just like that kind of was a big part of the race, I feel like, because people like did
totally.
pass each other at that corner. Like if one was going down, the other one was going around. Like it made it easier to pass. But
Yeah.
yeah.
What things could be improved from a newer fan's perspective? You've been to a Formula One race. I have not.
Hmm. Hmm.
You've now been to a Supercross race.
I wish they would have explained the 250 and four, like literally just like a little like, oh, this is this group and
Yes.
whatever. I don't know if that makes sense, but like
Yeah, it does.
still, yeah.
450s are bigger. They're literally
Okay.
bigger bikes and they go
Hmm.
faster. Do I know like the mechanics of like, oh, this makes this go faster, so it's considered a 450? And no, I don't. And like you said, that's the one thing I think people don't realize is like these bikes go so fast, but they have to use so much power to A, stay on, and B, not get hit by somebody else. And then your career's over. And I think in that race, there were a couple gnarly
Oh my
crashes.
goodness. It was crazy. Like I was gasping, like honestly so crazy. And like there'd be times where I was watching the driver that like I knew,
Uh-huh.
and then like I would hear people like gasp and I'd be like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Yeah.
Like
And then
they
somewhere
let
else
you
on the
know.
track. So you're like, wait, where's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some pretty bad ones. There was he got carted off of the
Oh my gosh.
thing and he like held up and he was like
Yeah,
this.
that's Jordan Smith. He's a
Yes.
Triumph Racing rider. That was so sad. And I think he's out. See how this goes? It's like it's
Yeah.
incredibly tough. And so this is a really interesting season that you got to watch because
Hmm.
all of the top most popular guys are out. The Lawrence brothers are
Okay.
because of injury. And
Hmm.
I think it happened in the second or third race. So
Hmm.
like so early in the season that all of these guys, and so I can tell too with the broadcast and the intros, like they've had to like, I'm sure they had to be like, hey, so and so. And then they're like, oh, me? Like, I never thought I'd get the
Hmm.
opportunity to have this. Like,
Yeah.
so it's really interesting to see how it's been playing out. But
Back to like the thing about how much like strength they have to have like on the bike. I was watching, so I grew up watching Hayden Deegan's family on YouTube. His older sister, I loved her like it was like I loved watching them, me and my sister both. And I was watching him specifically and I was just like it confused me at first, but then I understood it how it's like he wasn't sitting down. Like he was just like he's kind of up and like then I realized like how much effort they have to put into like literally every single move that they're making. Like there's not a single time where they're resting. And
mhm.
it was like it really impressed me honestly and it, like gave me so much respect for them because it was like you were constantly like engaging your core. You're like going over these bumps and it's
Yes,
like you don't get a rest for the whole time.
exactly.
So yeah, that really impressed me.
Would you attend a Supercross race if there were women racing?
When I was thinking about that the entire time, not even kidding you. So yes, I would.
But there is a women's team, and it's Team USA women's
Oh
team.
my gosh.
Going to be competing, I believe, in Australia, and they do races throughout the US, but it's nothing like
Hmm.
Supercross, and
Yeah.
it's mostly outdoors. This I started this thing, so now it's opening my eyes to
Yeah.
it. I've obviously always like loved the movie Motocross because she
Yeah.
pretends to be a boy,
Yes.
able to race
Hmm.
in the races like her brother, which I just that whole movie
Yeah.
so formative for my young self. But I just have always been like, why can't the girls race with them? Like, come on.
Yeah.
They could
I thought about it because when they were doing the
18
little kids,
challenge.
okay. Yes. There was I I know one I think there was two girls in there. And it got me thinking because I was like, this is so cool for them.
I know.
But it was like really cool because like you know Lily, my sister, like she loves everything bikes and whatever like
Mhm.
she would have loved to do that. So it's like I think there should definitely be a bigger platform to for women to like enter this space and like I feel like uh, yeah, I feel like that should just be a thing that happens. But yeah, I would 100% go. I think that'd be so cool,
Mhm.
honestly. Or even yeah, totally. Like even if it was separate, it would be so cool to kind of add that into like
Mhm.
the events of the night. Like that would just be so cool.
Wow, wait, I never thought of that. It could literally be. It's just called
It's
Supercross.
just Supercross, like just
But
add women.
there's like a girls race.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I think that is I think that is totally doable. And like I also see like they're starting it kind of with Formula One too, the academy. And
Mhm.
it's like I mean they don't have like as many dates as Formula One does, but when they are at like Miami, whatever, it is the same weekend. Pretty sure.
Well,
I know they go to like a lot of the same
it would
places,
be
but
smart
like
if it was.
yeah. So I think that like that could totally just be an addition and like yeah, I maybe like do less t-shirt throwing or something. Like I don't know, but like you could totally add it in.
Totally. Next kind of question observation. I know you know who Jet Lawrence is. He has said in the past, and I think I said this in my first video, but he wants Supercross to be as prestigious and like as popular as Formula One. Do you think that it could be?
I do think it could be. I will say like the being able to go to both kinds of races,
Mhm.
just the overall vibe of being at a Formula One race is already like more prestige, I would say.
Mhm.
Whereas like I walked into like the stadium for motocross and it was like oh like everyone
I
I
know
don't know how to
exactly what you mean.
explain it, but it was like I went to Formula One and you see these people who have like the paddock passes and like their dress celebrities are there.
So I think what you're trying to say is the barrier of entry is easier for Supercross,
100%. Yeah.
which we love that
Yeah.
because
Totally.
I think that's why it has such a cult following. It's because it's accessible for people and not to try and stereotype people. That's not what we're doing.
hmm
And then with Formula One, it's more of like the upper class, basically.
Yeah.
You have
And
to
I
have a
mean
lot of
like
money to go.
yeah, that's what like and especially in the US because well, Supercross is such a like US thing, I would say. In Formula One, you have three US states. And it's like I I do think like Supercross could get to that level, but it's like it's just I think it started out as like this thing that's more accessible for people. So
Mhm.
like you would it would be dumb to like raise prices thinking that that's going to make it more prestige because like oh, there's a reason that people love Supercross so much. I feel like you kind of grow up with it. Like, when it's in town, it's like let's go.
Totally.
And so I think that it's like I don't know how like possible it would be, but
Mhm.
I do agree because it's like these writers are really
They're elite.
what they're doing. Yeah, it's really difficult what they're doing.
Mhm.
I think the part of it being like on dirt and like on these dirty bikes, like you're getting dirt all over you, like that kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but I like what he's saying, but I just think that Formula One, like the background of it, like it
It's very
starts
niche.
in
Supercross
Europe and like
is.
and that and Supercross America, like it's just they're different things. But
Mhm.
I do think that the drivers deserve a lot more respect than they get because I didn't know the kind of like stuff that they go through and riding and stuff. And it's like then you go to a race and you do know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
I agree.
I agree with what you're saying. I said to my mom at Anaheim one, and this isn't like a dig or anything. If I didn't go to every single race since I was born, which pretty much have, I don't think I would be a fan of this sport. Just with the vibes, like it's not our vibe.
I okay, I agree with that because it's like I've me and Peyton very similar in that vibe, and it's like we were there, and it's like oh my gosh, you guys are really loud and like whatever, but we love the sport because like it's a part, especially for Peyton, like it's a part of how like something that you grew up with, and so it's like there's nothing that's really gonna like change your love for it. Like if you grew up going with like your parents and your siblings and stuff, like it's like a big part of
Mhm.
like what made you who you are today.
Totally.
So yeah, definitely like not my vibe at all, but like kind of is nostalgic, honestly. Like if you grew up with like that vibe around you, now you might have a different one, but like
Totally.
it's fun, honestly, to just be in that crowd for a day. Like it's nice. Oh my gosh, wait, can we talk about Chase Sexton and
Oh,
like the end of that race? I he's my favorite in 450s, and I was watching him. And so when that happened, I didn't watch who was finishing. And then later I'm on Instagram and it's like the closest finish. And I'm like, what?
I
I
know.
was so I was so confused. It was like I'm so sad I missed that because I was paying attention to him, and then I went on Instagram later and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I was there for that. But like it
Yeah,
was like crazy. Yeah, that whole thing was insane. I was so sad for him.
he was like literally he just had to finish ahead of Cooper Webb. Like that's all he had to do. And um
Yeah.
a series of unfortunate events. He's always falling, and it's not like
Hmm.
someone knocked him down. It's like or like his bike stalled. Like what are they
Yeah,
doing that? Like
I
oh
know.
him like
I know.
being so upset and like walking away and then sitting down. I was like,
I
oh,
know. I It made me so sad for him.
I cannot believe you were in person for that. I would have
I
done.
can't either. I It was just, oh my gosh, I was like wrecked. I felt so bad for him.
I
And
know.
it was like I was so excited. I was getting so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna do this, like whatever. And then I was like, and I was so funny because it's like, I mean, I wasn't really like emotionally connected to him before that day.
Yeah,
But like as the day went on, I was like, oh my gosh, like I need him to win. Like I was so excited. And it's just kind
I
of crazy how fast I got hooked, honestly.
love it.
That was fun.
We have a convert.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Much. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I'm so glad
I
you.
had so much fun at the race and like definitely am gonna be paying attention to more of the races this year. Like being there in person, like I think that's what could hook a new fan. I don't think like
Mhm.
watching over the TV, but like if you put yourself in the environment and you're there with all the people who have loved it forever, like it's really gonna like hook you. I feel like that's the same with like a lot of sports. Like if you're in a loud environment, you see how into it like everyone else is. It's like you're
So
gonna end up loving it. So I'm like 100% gonna keep tuning into all these races. Like I new fan convert, like I loved it so much. But yeah, definitely a like a new sport for me to just like respect and like love because obviously, you know, I love sports. So like
yeah.
this is so much fun and I loved it. But yeah,
Oh, well, thank you for being on Track and Chat.
of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be on this.
How was the
Oh,
That's
I
fun.
don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm coming home this weekend.